and head of the 13th seed through with no dramas 25. Against Mario van der Bajara. But now it's another player in Tony Martinez who's
25.
Making his first bow in a Players' Championship up against one of the more regular players that we see all the time in PDC action. That's Andy Boulton. Welcome back to our action here, Andy.
25.
What kind of season's he going to have, I wonder? But he's up against Tony from Spain, who had the lowest running average of anybody who got through Q School. So I think an average of, say, 83 and change, Rob, is going to have to be lifted by a minimum of 8 or 9 if he's going to keep this card over the next 2 years.
Well, Boulton winning the bull and kicking off with a ton 40 as well. Starting this match as the clear favourite to come through against Tony Martinez. 48 years old, Andy Boulton. 56 on the order of merit at this moment in time.
60.
And a man that personally I've seen a lot of on the European Tour stage, of course. Semi-finalist on the European Tour stage not too many years ago in Hamburg, 2018. 78. And that was when he was a non-tour card holder as well. I think he was the first associate member to ever reach the semi-final of a European Tour event, so there's another feather in his cap as well.
140.
That's a first Players' Championship in the UK for Tony Martinez, because back in 2005 he played a weekend in Lissa and he didn't have any success there, so he's still looking for his first win. Well, we have seen a little bit of him before, but congratulations to Tony for getting through Q School first and foremost, because
97.
There are some very good players who didn't make it through.
Yeah. Look
at someone like Jelle Klaassen, for instance, former world champion. Robert Thornton, former lots of things.
87.
It's usually this time of year you do find one or two of the Q School
96.
graduates who make a bit of hay early in the season because of the confidence they've gained through that Q School campaign. But Andy Boulton has been there, done it.
78.
But hasn't won it yet. That's the thing about his career. He's been there, but he hasn't lifted a trophy or a title of note yet. He hasn't taken the first leg either after 2 misses at double, but Martinez can still do this. Not anymore.
76.
Yeah, he looked bitterly disappointed after that single one, but it's almost like he did lose sight of the fact that he could still finish, and I think he lost a lot of momentum there, Martinez. But Boulton not standing on ceremony either, and steps in with double 9 to hoover up the opening leg.
Well, here at PDC TV, we like to have a bit of fun. We like to give people a few nicknames and
58.
Celebrate their names and their looks, and trust me, in 2022 you are going to see some mullets, because some of the young people coming from the Netherlands, they've got some hairdos.
45.
But I don't think Tony Martinez has got himself a darts nickname, so I think for now we're just going to call him Conchita.
60.
I did hear something in my ear there. I was tempted to repeat it, but I won't.
97.
It's actually quite a fiery character, Tony Martinez. I've seen him play before, and very, very useful. It's a nice action he has. Almost Andy Hamilton-like, where he puts that hand out first, resets and throws forward. I think it's a very good action. But this technique of Andy Boulton looks very well practiced. He looks
100.
pretty sharp. A lot of these players will have put in weeks of practice leading up to this event. And Players' Championship 1 for me is always a sign of who has prepared maybe the best
100.
over the last few weeks.
Just looking at this maybe from Martinez's point of view as well, I mentioned at the outset, here we are, we've got our first ever £100,000 day of action on the Pro Tour, £200,000 on offer over the weekend, £3 million if you extrapolate that all throughout the entire season of 2022. That's in Players' Championship money alone as part of this £15 million package on offer. you know, the rewards are clearly there. They're clearly tangible for the players, but especially for people like Martinez, who are just coming through onto the circuit as a tour card holder. No doubt desperate to make an impression on the first weekend, desperate to get some prize money on the board, because as well as the hard cash, it's all about ranking points as well. And I think there might be a lot of pressure on the shoulders of players like Van den Bogart, like Martinez this weekend.
Another one of those would be handy. Boulton's already missed double 7 for a 1-2-2. Martinez only just misses out on that second 57.
96.
So Boulton to double his lead with a break of throw in 6 visits.
So double 2 for Boulton. Well, he's ended up in the madhouse, so a little glimmer of hope here for Martinez, who's kept himself in position and got himself down to a very manageable 68. 16s here. And double for 1 apiece.
52.
And he's just inside. Bit of daylight there, actually, between dart and target.
You can't be throwing 21 darts and not winning legs here. That is pretty much a cast iron rule.
Game shot.
You will get punished. And Andy Boulton will think that's a gift, a 20 dart break.
Yeah,
He's not going to break many people this year in 20 darts.
Nicely tickled in off that first barrel as well, just using that as a guide to find its way through to double 1. And yeah, Boulton, I think, getting away with that one to an extent.
I like the way you were talking about the prize money change over the last couple of games, Rob, because I'm looking at the breakdown of the prizes per round right in front of me. And I go back to 2008 when I played my first Players' Championship in Las Vegas.
80.
And I thought it was incredible that you just had to win one game to get £75. Now you win one game, it's 10 times that, £750. You had to get to round about the quarter-finals to get that kind of money just over 10 years ago. That is a sign that the PDC has done an amazing job of lining the pockets
58.
of professional dart players coming to places like this over the last 10 to 15 years. Great job by the PDC.
Yeah, an injection of a further £750,000 into the Players' Championship prize money alone this year. The rewards are there, the incentives are obvious for all players.
$99.
You just sense that Martinez is in trouble already.
Well, you sense that he's just trying a little bit too hard as well. That's the other thing. He just needs to relax. He looked nervous as soon as he walked out there, really.
98.
Maybe first night nerves, maybe a case of, the rewards on offer. And up against, let's face it, a player embedded in the top 64 in the world, so he's up against a class act here, and Boulton's class has got himself into a position whereby he needs double 16 for a 3-0 lead.
Nothing in the way. Maybe a little bit now, hence the shuffle to the right. Likes a shuffle, does Andy Boulton.
No score.
I still think he provided us with the best finish of last season on the floor when he beat Kim Huybrechts with a 167 checkout, and he did the pre-167 shuffle. An astonishing shot. But Martinez is not up to the 1-2-4, and Boulton gets another crack at double 16.
Yeah, just outside that treble 18 bed that would have left a bullseye attempt for Martinez. So double 16 for Boulton. This time he makes no mistake. He missed 3 attempts in the previous visit, but on target with that one. And in the blink of an eye, it seems, Boulton, well, breezing into a 3-0 lead. And that just about sums up Martinez's day so far. Single 1 with the first dart. Single 19 to back it up as well. Really could do with a treble here.
74.
And a chance for Boulton to steal a march on his opponents already with a big start to this fourth leg.
I was pretty certain I'd seen
60.
Tony Martinez on the Euro Tour before, and I've just checked my reliable stats database, and we did see him before in Mannheim. One of the best venues on the European Tour, but there he goes, getting a maximum. Funny enough, in that tournament, he lost in the second round. He beat Paul Rowley in the first round, lost to Joe Cullen, and we've been talking a lot about Joe Cullen over the last few weeks because he won the Masters, got himself in the Premier League, and this is better for Martinez, isn't it?
It certainly is. He's suddenly found his range and he's got his shooting boots on. Look at that, 2 180s back to back. He's down to 67, and perhaps a little bit more significantly, it's on the Boulton throw as well. Sorry, it's on the Martinez throw. So it's not any great damage done for Andy Boulton if Martinez does take this one out, which he
27.
doesn't at the moment, but he will return looking at tops.
Even if he does go on to lose this match, legs like this just give you a bit of confidence. Is he going to
177.
get the 177? Of course he is. That changes this shot a lot.
Yeah, a little tap on the shoulder here for
Game shot.
Tony Martinez, but despite that tap on the shoulder, he takes out double 20, and Martinez gets his first leg on the scoreboard, and my word, he needed that as well.
140.
Yes, that European Tour appearance was back in 2017. That event, the German Darts Grand Prix in Mannheim, was won by Michael van Gerwen, and he averaged 111 in the final against Rob Cross. We haven't been saying that about Michael van Gerwen a lot over the last year. He won one Players' Championship
108.
in 2021. There's a maximum for Andy Boulton. As far as today is concerned, we have a lot of people through to round 2, including Michael van Gerwen, who averaged 104.81
140.
in beating Louis Williams of Wales.
Yeah, Bolton's another player as well. I mentioned Damon Heta, not quite in
99.
Heta's bracket, but Boulton is another player who has certainly just more slowly and steadily established himself since winning his 2-year tour card in January of 2019. It was a nail-biting final day in Wigan for him on that occasion.
140.
Started well, made a quarter-final on day 1, but he failed to get past the last 32 on each of the remaining 3 days, but just about did enough to get one of those places on the Order of Merit.
Game shot.
And he's just about done enough there as well to open up a 4-1 lead in this first round match.
That's one of those shots that gives you a great deal of belief for the rest of this game and for the day ahead. You get that bullseye on the 82, you give yourself 2 cracks at double 16, the first attempt is close, and you've got the belief
80.
and the accuracy to find a smaller portion of that double 16 when it's slightly blocked. Boulton looks sharp. I like what I'm watching.
Yeah, it's encouraging, and I think he's got maybe a couple more gears to go through here as well. He's not really been tested under pressure so far, which is of course a very different examination, and I'm sure that will come further down the road this afternoon in Barnsley.
100.
Loads of interesting games going on right now. Debutant from Germany, Ricardo Pietreczko.
Who we
Watch
have seen
out
on
for
the
him.
Euro
He's
Tour,
just won
yeah.
6 legs to 0.
Wow.
Not a great game with Damien Mall. The averages were in the 70s, but regardless of the average, getting your first win in your first game, 6 legs to 0, that'll make you feel really good.
Yep. I don't care who you're playing.
140.
Well, a 140 there from Martinez, just keeping himself involved in this one as well, but you always suspect that Bolton's got a riposte in him.
100.
He's in the zone here, Boulton. Earlier on he looked quite relaxed, but now he's trying to squeeze the lemon for a bit more. He's trying to get the best from himself, but Martinez is starting to up that scoring
59.
just a little bit more, putting Boulton under the tiniest bit more pressure. The last time he was on 201, he was pretty useful.
Well, Martinez is waiting in the wings on 1-2-2, on throw again, just to emphasise the point.
97.
So again, no massive damage done if Boulton doesn't take this one. I would make Boulton a marginal favourite at the moment. 104, and he can't find the treble either that would have left the bullseye.
54.
And a chance now for Boulton to secure another break and open up a 5-1 lead. 84 away.
That's the problem when you underpitch that first start.
76 left, yeah.
You've got to look elsewhere. A lot of people like the 18s for 100, 104,
48.
but obviously Andy Boulton likes double 12. That's why he went that route. Martinez finds himself on 68, not for the first time in this match, but it's got to be 13 bull now. Just about gets the 13.
43.
Doesn't get the bullseye to give Boulton a chance at 5-1, a scoreline that Damon Heta had in our previous match.
Yeah, that was a very tetchy, a very nervy visit from Martinez. He almost missed that single 13, but Boulton doesn't miss the double 12, and Boulton does find another way through. He finds another break, and it's a very one-sided encounter that could be drawing to a very swift conclusion.
I told you I like double 12. I'd do anything to leave double 12. Even hit double 16 before it. It wasn't intentional. A somewhat serendipitous thing to do. Only 2 Players' Championships here in
60.
Barnsley this weekend. It is a slight change to what has happened the last couple of years. The innovation of the series of events over the last couple of years, starting with the Summer Series during the pandemic in 2020. That somewhat continued towards the 2021 season, but this year there's a lot more of the old school, just playing at the weekend in Barnsley, or Wigan as it is next week.
83.
Yeah, I mean, last year when we were here in Barnsley, we had a cluster of, or 2 clusters of 3 and a cluster of 4 events all at once as part of these, as you say, blocks. Not quite super series, but blocks of Players' Championship events. And I think it's a more manageable, more sustainable way of doing things when you have these weekends. And as you say, we'll be off to Wigan very shortly as well. We'll be in Hildesheim, Niedenhausen, Dublin this year as well.
That's the one that a lot of people are looking forward to, going back to Dublin, because they haven't been there for... Well, when we get there, it'll be 3 years.
Yeah, a long overdue return to that particular part of the world. Yeah, Players' Championship 3 and 4 in Wigan next weekend. The qualifiers for Euro Tour 2 and Euro Tour 3 will also take place in Wigan next Friday, following that Premier League night in Liverpool as well. And then the Players' Championship returns here to Barnsley in March for events 5 and 6. And again, we'll have some Euro qualifiers on the Friday night
21.
as well.
All we're hoping for right now is that we have more Euro Tours this year than we have had the last couple of years, but it was almost a 145 possibility to win the match for Andy Boulton. But look at that bullseye, juicy right in the middle, and it sets up a match-winning double 8 when he comes back.
Yeah, and you can just tell that Martinez is playing like a beaten man there.
29.
Once again, failing to find a treble and only registering 29 on the scoreboard as well. He's not left himself a finish either. He's thrown in the towel here as Boulton looks at double 8s for a 6-1 win. He's just inside, but he will return if he doesn't find this double 4. But he does find double 4, absolutely plumb in the middle of that double 4 bed, and Martinez heavily beaten by 6 legs to 1.